Hello, everyone, and welcome to the newly rebranded, much to my chagrin, Podro Pascal.
The show is a bi-weekly. Oh, well, you know what? You lost because
I always lose. Listen,
our listeners and our friends, they said no.
We changed it and got like 5 followers. So I think those 5 people were like, "Oh, this is dumb name," and then like Pedro Pascal, and they're like, "Great name, must follow." I'm like, what the hell? Whatever. Anyway, do the opening now that I've yelled at buttons.
Hi, everyone. You're tuned in to Pedro. I'm doing this so well. I just recorded like a voice acting reel this week, so my brain is like all marshmallows and like mac and cheese. So here we go. You're tuned in to the newly rebranded Pedro Pascal, a bi-weekly celebration of the actor Pedro Pascal, where we explore his filmography and how some of his greatest performances came to be.
I'm Rachel, and someone needs a fire, apparently, or needs help with a fire.
Not me this time. It's not, do you need a fire?
Jeez. I mean, I live in New York. It's probably me, but also I'm like, should I be like going somewhere?
It's not me this time, I swear. And I'm Catrina.
And this week, we are welcoming. We have a whole script that is somewhat being followed. We're welcoming our first guest. We have a guest to talk about the 2018 film Prospect, starring Sophie Thatcher, Jay Duplass, the older Duplass brother, and Pedro Pascal as this is great, renegade who turns a father and daughter's mission on its head. Welcome to the podcast, Dakota Johnson. I'm just kidding. It's Maggie Lovett. It's my good friend for years because we both love Chris Pine. Maggie Lovett.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course, we should have said star of Wonder Woman 1984.
Yes. Star of 5 seconds of a featurette on the Wonder Woman 1984 DVD.
Our very first celebrity guest.
It's true. I have an IMDb to prove it.
Yay! Maggie, my favorite story is she figured out who Maxwell Lord was just by seeing the commercial of Pedro Pascal in that when she was filming. Just like, there's Maxwell Lord.
Never underestimate somebody who grew up on the internet decoding movies for fun.
Yep,
truly.
Exactly.
So, Maggie, tell us about yourself.
So I like to say that I'm a Jill of all trades. I do a little bit of everything. I am the managing editor over at Your Money Geek. I cover a bunch of fun pop culture stuff all the time. I'm also an actor when we're not in quarantine. Really looking forward to get back to that. And then I'm a podcaster and YouTuber, which is still a new thing for me to say. I'm the co-host on the Star Wars Friends show, on Petticoats and Poppies, History Girls at the Movies, and then my own YouTube channel, Let's Talk About Star Wars. And then I can tease that I have something new coming out very soon. So be looking for that on a 13th of a month sometime in the future. Very excited about that. But yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
I love Maggie said on a 13th.
Of some month the future.
Well, that's a clue. That was an Easter egg.
On the 13th, I'm gonna look that up. That's every month going forward on the 13th. I'm gonna be like, hey Maggie, what's up? Do you have an announcement today?
I'm like thinking about all the shit Maggie tweets about, and I'm going, okay, on the 13th.
I did tweet about something.
When are you gonna break embargo?
I gotta go look at. Listen, I hate riddles. I'm watching The Hobbit, or all the Hobbitses. And there was a whole riddle off, and I was like, I would just fucking lose. And so this is going to take me a hot minute to figure out what you're talking about. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, everyone, you're going to learn all about Maggie throughout this, but Maggie rules.
Yes, I love Maggie. And I love your podcast. It was super fun to go on and talk about Zorro before. So
yeah, so those are my favorite episodes.
Thank you. Yeah, we're crossing streams here on Pedro Pascal. Podro Pascal.
Why do you
scream?
All
right. So, Rachel, what have you?
They were rivers. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I've seen Ghostbusters.
Do you not know that the rivers run wild here?
Let the river run. Let all the things make the nation. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to ask you what you've been up to lately, but you seem pretty busy.
Well, I got half vaxxed. I got my first shot of the Moderna. I can move my arm now, which feels really nice. I couldn't for 2 days. Got that dolly vax. Did try and watch an episode of Narcos while, like, in the loopy. I don't know if. I think we all three have different vaccines because I know Catrina got J&J. Maggie, did you have Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Okay, so with Moderna, I don't know if anyone else felt this, but like the day after, because I got it on April 2nd. Thank you, Pedro Pascal's birthday. I got the vax. Yesterday on Saturday, I woke up, didn't really have a fever anymore, but like truly felt like I was in a fever dream. Like, was just loopy as shit, trying to function as a human. And so I tried to watch Narcos. And I was like, I'm going to have to rewatch this whole episode because I have zero idea what was going on. It was the episode where they were interrogating Blackie. And I was just like, why are they leaning on a table in the dark? Like, that was what I focused on in the scene. Because I was like, why is this happening? And then I was like, oh, I need to rewatch this. I have no idea what happened. I am so out of it and decided this is smart. That's pretty much what I did was I got half a vax. Yeah. And I lost my goddamn mind. Catrina, what have you been up to?
I mean, also totally losing my goddamn mind.
Who among us hasn't lost our mind yet?
Yeah, if anyone's doing well, I don't trust you.
No,
unless you're fully vaxxed and went outside again. But like, I don't trust you.
Oh, I'm fully vaxxed and I went outside and I am not doing well, you guys. I am.
Yeah, I still don't have to trust you then.
No, yeah. The concept of reassimilating to the world right now is kind of terrifying. But that is why I've occupied my Friday nights inside on the new tabletop RPG show called From the Cantina, where I play Nautilin engineer Lobo, and it's pretty great. I'm having a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Yeah, I've wanted to be on a tabletop show, like secret, not so secret, forever. And I've done a lot of really great one shots with like other networks like Saving Throw. But this is on Whiskey and Waffles on Twitch on Friday nights. So please watch if you like Star Wars RPGs. That's about it. Like, I mean, I got vaxxed too. I've got a move.
That's the excitement. That's the fucking excitement of 2020. Yeah, I got vaxxed.
I got a shot.
Yeah, I got a shot. Like, right over here. It was great. There were cats at my location that were just kind of like running around. So I got to watch some kittens run around while I was getting vaxxed. And
I did find the one nerd.
Oh,
like truly found nice. He walked up to me because I had a Spider-Man mask on. He went, "Nice Spider-Man mask," and then realized my purse was also Spider-Man. I was like, "Oh my god!" And nice Spider-Man purse, and I was like, then he saw I had Wonder Woman shoes on. I was like, I also have a Wonder Woman ring. And just like, what else do you want to know? And then he like, we were going back and forth. I was like, and I also have a Spider-Man tattoo, and it's next to my Wonder Woman tattoo. You can clearly tell who I fucking like. And so then he was like, I have a Batman wedding ring. And so we were just like going back and forth about what nerdy things we owned. I was like, well, yeah, I'm also wearing my Mandalorian shirt because I want to like post a picture and be like, this is the way. And he goes, they make vintage Mandalorian shirts now? And I was like, oh, it's a fucking pastel Mandalorian shirt. Like, I don't fucking know, dude. I got it at Old Baby. But like, I was just in there, I was like, this is what my level of conversation has become.
You know, the lady that gave me my shot, we had a whole conversation about Star Wars, so.
Oh, That's so nice. The guy who gave me my shot just said I did a really good job, and that was enough for me. It's like, yes, I did.
He said, "Good job, you got a vax.
A+.
A+ on your vax work."
Thank you.
But now that we've bantered,
and none of us lost an arm.
Yeah, I didn't get whatever they call it, COVID arm with the.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
I got mad COVID arm. It hurt really bad.
No, COVID arm is you look like it's a rash.
Oh, really? Oh,
like
it just like hurt.
Yeah, my arm hurt, but now I can do
I have a friend who got COVID
just
arm.
listening, I can move my arm now. I'm doing on camera. I'm just moving my arm around. Great.
Rachel's doing great.
Great content.
We're really putting forth the effort for our audio listeners. You know,
yeah, because I'm moving an arm around.
It's going to be really, really descriptive for you.
But yes, this week though was a pretty big week for Pedro Pascal. Huge, just because he was born, not for the first time.
Oh my god! How many times has he been born? Is this
46 times, right? Or would this be the 47th time because he's 46? I don't know how that logic works out. Like, you know how people are like, I'm on my 40 whatever year around the sun. So, like, have you ever heard that? My dad does it all the time where he's 69, but he'll be like, but I'm on my 70th year around the sun.
Oh, no. So, like, I don't do that. I don't confuse. I already forget my age enough.
I forget my age all the time.
All the time. It's always a year off.
Family to remember ages, so I can never forget because we all are 10 years
I asked my mom on my birthday this year. I was like, how old am I turning again? Like, I genuinely do not remember.
Well, but so Pedro Pascal is 46. We're doing so great.
A great show today, guys.
We're recording this on Rodney Jr.'s birthday too. You know, my other Aries king. Aries. I think we've talked about it on here, but like apparently because I'm a Scorpio, that's why I cling to like Pisces and Aries.
Pisces. Yeah, here we are.
See, you're just proving the fucking point. But like, it's because you guys are all about like rising and new beginnings, and I'm like death. I don't remember what it is, but like, it's the opposites. So it's like whoever like you're doing the opposite. So I'm November, and the opposites are like March and April.
Yeah.
I have so many March and Aprils. Anywho's. We're doing so well. Yeah, he turned 46. I've said this 3 times.
Proud of him.
See, now I'm not going to forget how old he is because I do need that 3-point reminder like all the time.
So proud you had a birthday.
Yeah. Good for him.
Good for you.
Oh, Rachel did some coverage over on the Mary Sue on that subject for Pedro's birthday to cover all of his upcoming projects. So if you are curious about Pedro Pascal's upcoming projects, you should go to the Mary Sue and read his birthday column thing that Rachel wrote. I started off really strong with that.
Yeah, you were really like hyping me up, and then it was like, no.
And do the thing.
Yeah, because I'm gonna end up covering them for work. I'm assigned, I think all of them. The Last of Us. Yeah, I'm assigned the Pedro Pete. Well, because like something happened, and one thing I was covering got taken away, and I was like, can I cover The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? And
I cannot wait for that movie.
Me either. I just want to see fucking Nick Cage.
I love Nick Cage so much.
I've been in a Raising Arizona kick for like a month, and I haven't watched it. I just really want to watch Raising Arizona, and every time I'm like, what do we watch Raising Arizona? Like someone in my friend group suggests we all like stream in our respective homes something different, and I'm like, okay, but what if we watch Raising Arizona? And so yeah, I can't wait for that movie. It looks batshit.
It looks absolutely fantastic.
Also, like a dream situation. Like I would fucking love if my birthday present was to just recreate scenes from movies, like with the actor. Like Harrison Ford would fucking hate me, but we would have so much fun. I'd be like, dude, scream my name like this is fucking Witness, and and I'm gonna go get into the bin of corn. Like, let's go.
Rachel has very specific desires, Harrison Ford. If you're listening, very simple.
The corn scene.
You are.
Where it's what? It's him. I think it's him, Danny Glover, and then the girl, and they're all screaming at each other in a room of corn. If I remember.
Well, that's kind of corny, don't you think?
Oh, and Working Girl. We're just doing all of Working Girl. But yeah, I'm very excited about The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, a movie that I had to drill into my head what its title is because I was gonna call it like something else every single time. The Bubble, because I'm just swearing up a storm today. I fuck with some Judd Apatow. Oh my god, I can't talk. Judd Apatow movies. I did one of those personality test things yesterday. Me and Pedro Pascal, same personality type. What up? But
Nice.
also I'm the same personality type as Pete Davidson's character from The King of Staten Island. That makes sense. Yeah, truly, I was like, that checks out. A great Judd Apatow. This was just so I could say that is a great Judd Apatow movie. But yeah, the birthday, what's important about his birthday though, and I wrote this as a note and we have veered, but a couple of Pedro Pascal's fans got together to support a charity. If you want to look, it's on Pedro Trends on Twitter. I think there were like 6 or 7 of them. They all joined together. They picked a charity. They got a hashtag trending, and they raised like, I think it's almost like $14,000 at this point.
Wow.
For Seneca, which helps. It's a service for immigrant families in Los Angeles, I believe. But it's a really cool organization. Because when I wrote up the piece, I had emailed them about it because I wanted to make sure I got all their information correct. It's a really cool organization. $14,000. I think you can still donate. I don't know if you can by the time this comes out, but it was still very cool. And amazing and very nice. Yay. And sometimes what's really cool about fandoms, because they raise so much money for a great organization, and that was really sweet.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at ending things today, apparently.
Oh no, you and me both. I mean,
no.
Stopping mid-sentence, okay, well, doing our best. We're doing our very best. We are doing the best we can.
I mean, Maggie knew this was going to be chaos.
I love chaos.
It's like that one Marie Kondo quote, I love mess.
I love mess. It's me. But yeah, and that's all that really happened this week, right?
Yeah. I think
The Last of Us is going to film this summer
in Canada.
In Canada, which then kind of reinforces the fact that he is going to be in the suit for season 3 of Mando, because season 3 of Mando is supposed to start. Holy shit!
Supposed to start in.
Thank you, a tangent, because I can't say supposed. God, is Mandalorian season 3? I'm gonna cry.
Do you want me to say the first part for you, and then you can say the second part?
It is time for more alcohol. Thank you, this Pedro Pascal gif. Okay, yes, Maggie, say the first. Thank you. This week. I think it's supposed to start tomorrow. Oh, now I said it fine. It's supposed to start on April 5th, I think. I looked it up, and it was like, when you Google when is this thing supposed to film, and it is always like so-and-so is released on, and you're like, that's not what I asked. I asked when's it supposed to film, or when did it film? Searched when does Mandalorian season 3 start filming, and it was like April 5th in big letters, and I was like, thanks, Google. That's exactly what I needed. But it's supposed to start filming on the 5th, which means, fingers crossed, we can get more Pedro in the suit and maybe more FaceTime as the himbo king of Mandalore.
We love him. I can't wait.
But yeah, that's the only other news I can think of off the top of my head.
Nice. It's going to be a nice, busy year. And I'm very excited to see all the good stuff with all the Pedro Pascals in it. All right.
I'm loving this podcast so far.
We're But I just start every sentence really strong, and then like you can visibly see the ADHD kick in sometimes, where it's like, so anyway, we're going to start talking about this topic, which is
I feel that so much.
Well, it's always chaos here, but I think the fact that we decided to rebrand our podcast 20 minutes before we started recording, we were like, let's do it. And then just
we said let's do it, and then like the weight of the content creation like toppled down on my head the moment I pressed send on my yes reply. So but we did it.
No. Yeah.
We got like most of it done. We got like 75% of it done. We'll be take care of it after the show.
But the reason we're here,
hello.
The reason we're on this podcast with Maggie is because she chose to talk about what she called her favorite sci-fi movie in recent years. The 2018 Netflix hit Prospect. So Maggie, since you have chosen this wonderful film, why don't you talk about for a minute why you like Prospect so much?
Oh my gosh. So I first watched this film last January. I was like on a Pedro Pascal kick, and a friend of mine on Twitter was like, hey, you should check out Prospect. And I was like, well, it's probably going to be better than Bloodsucking Bastard. So I was like, cool. Cause like I love sci-fi. And so I was like, it was on Hulu then. And I watched it, and I just like, I fell into it. It was so, and it wasn't even just like for Pedro Pascal. It was the way that the story, the way that Christopher and Zeke made this, it's such simplistic sci-fi. I feel like so much sci-fi here in recent years tends to overcomplicate things and like treats the audience like they're stupid and that they have to have their hand held. And the way that they created this world just felt familiar. It felt like a place that I'd already been. I didn't need the technology like explained to me, or the funky like space music, or like any of this world didn't have to be explained to me. It was already there. I already understood it. And that was what ended up making this film like one of my favorite sci-fi films, because it's sci-fi done best, and it's done on a budget, which is also like obviously why like the original Star Wars films feel so lived in and so authentic, because they're not these giant multi-billion-dollar projects.
Yeah, I will totally agree that like one of my favorite things about this movie is that it does remind me of Star Wars, in that like I can tell that one, it was done on a budget, two, and I'll get a little bit into this, but there's like something Shakespearean about like space jargon when it's done right, because even though you don't know what the heck they're saying, the way they're saying it is like, oh, he's trying to like fix something on the ship. Like I know that's what this character is trying to do, even though he said, I'm gonna bim jing the dark bog. You know, you're like, oh yeah, obviously he's gonna bim jing the Darbog. Like,
I mean, we'll get into it, but that's like when at the end when they're trying to do the egg thing, I'm like, I don't know what the goal here is. Like, it's clearly not working. That's what I got. The goal is not working out. That's about the extent of the knowledge I have. I don't know what your goal is. You're stabbing a thing, and then it explodes, and you're like, oh, it exploded again. Like, you're stabbing it. Is it not?
Like, oh no! Like,
and then when they extract it, you're like, oh, okay.
But it worked. I was like, okay. And I told Catrina this, so just FYI, I told Maggie this. I'm sorry. I rewatched this last night at like 1 a.m, completely forgetting about one specific scene. And so it was like, by the time it rolled up, it was like 2:30, and I was just laying in my bed like, God damn it. Just like was like in my bed in a ball cringing, and my cat was just like looking at me like, what are you fucking doing?
I think I know exactly what scene you're talking about, and it's so funny because where's that one James Franco movie where like he's the rock climber and he gets like stuck.
That's 128 hours, but I was
however many hours that movie. Like that like I, even though like that is a real life story and I should have known what was coming, like I did not. And the first time I watched that, I was like, oh my God. And so I was watching this again and having like flashbacks.
The thing about this one is the sounds like the bone saw and like it's happening, and I'm like, oh my god, they're chopping her.
They're having a whole lot of
it's happening. It happens before you know. It's like it just feels like they're having a conversation, then suddenly she's cutting his arm off.
Well, okay, hold on. I'm gonna explain the plot of this movie, and then we can just talk about it, like whatever we want. Because that seems I don't like the sound of saws at all. And like when I was in theater school and they made you take like shop, that was a whole fucking time because I had to use a table saw. And I was like, oh, I love saws. Anyways, there's a whole nother thing. Let me explain this movie. So, let me set the scene for you. Jay Duplass, who I learned is the older Duplass brother, and truly cannot stop thinking about it. I always thought Jay Duplass was like 5 years younger than Mark Duplass. Not the case. 4 years older. But so Jay Duplass from shows like Transparent. You don't know him. Look up the Duplass brothers. They rule. So Jay Duplass has a daughter who is played by Sophie Thatcher that we learn later in the movie. His name's C. His name is Damien, right?
Damon.
Yeah, Damon. So Damon and C are on their little ship. Her mom is dead. I don't know if they tell us how she died. She's just dead. And they're going and they're trying to do this harvest, and it's supposed to give them enough money that they can like settle down and they don't have to do this shit anymore. You never know how old she is, unless I missed that.
I think she's supposed to be like 14 or 15.
Well, but she said when she was 12, and it seemed like it was like decades ago. She's like, when I was 12, I climbed.
She's an old soul.
But that's the thing, like, you're talking to like a 6-year-old who's like, yeah, when I was 3,
when I was a child,
ago, I was only a baby.
Well, so the actress is 21 now, so she was probably like 18 or 17. So I was assuming she was around that age. But whatever, she's just a teenager. And so they're on this plane. They're trying to do an extraction. They see these two other people. And before you hear Ezra, before you see him, and Damon and Ezra are chitty-chatting with Ezra's partner. And they do like a old Western standoff. Like it's like 3 of them all standing together. His daughter, or C, comes up and she has a gun. And they're all like, put the guns down. But then Damon and Ezra's partner like shoot each other and die. Which I think is hilarious. That like, also that this teenager was like, my dad's dead. Okay, gotta move on. And just like never really had a moment where she was like, my father died, I'm upset. She's like, well, I gotta live, so I gotta figure out how to get this shit off the thing.
In C's defense, she didn't really seem to like her dad that much.
No,
she seemed to have like a general disdain.
She was saying it's a bad thing. She was just like, all right, gotta go.
Doesn't he does drugs at the beginning too to like go to sleep?
He's not great. He is doing drugs. He very clearly has told her like, you need to focus, like, because she says later when she's talking to Ezra, like she never gets to be a kid. And that's like Ezra, like you can tell is like, this fucking kid, man. I feel bad. I gotta make sure she like can be a kid.
She gets a better dad.
He has a better dad. His name is Pedro Pascal, the father everyone apparently needs in the universe. But so that pretty much explains the beginning of this movie. And then somehow I don't remember how her and Ezra are just like, okay, we're gonna part ways now. Bye. And she goes back to her ship that doesn't work anymore. So she's like, well, I guess I'm just going to stay on this ship, eats all of the food, and then has fun. Like, you can tell she is younger when she's throwing shit at the wall. And you're like, what are you doing and why are you doing it? Like, what the hell? And she keeps reading this book, which I love that she wrote essentially fic for something. Yeah, she wrote fic for something she likes.
Oh, my God.
Because her dad, she lost her thing and her dad was like, great, you don't need to reread that book anymore. And so then like Ezra comes in, she shoots him. So is that the shot? Okay, here's my question. So is that the shot that made him lose his arm? Oh, yeah, good man. He was like, he didn't blame her. Anyways, let me finish.
Well, because he tries to seal it and he doesn't seal it well enough, so the green gets into it.
I know, but it's
let's specify that by this time, like, he has definitely killed her father. Like,
well, no,
the shootout, the shootout happens, but then her father is like grunting and stuff, and then he comes over and just like shoots him.
Yeah, he like mercy kills him.
Yeah, exactly. And so
that's how I call those. Like, if it's someone who's very clearly gonna die,
Well, yeah, the green was going to get him too.
Yeah, Super Mario Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she shoots him. Oh my god, that's so sweet. Anyways, now I'm getting distracted again. Then
this is like an ADHD podcast. I swear to God.
Oh yeah.
Then
welcome.
They're like, we gotta go. We gotta get you off this planet because this ship doesn't work. And they go and find like 5 different, not 5. I'm exaggerating. 2 different groups. Doing well of people. The one is like a freighter to get them off, but before then they meet this guy who I think just wants to recruit women so that they can have children on this planet. That was a little unclear about, but it seemed wonky. And Ezra again was a good man who was like, I'm not giving you this child. But so
she breaks out.
She breaks out
first. Mm-hmm.
She starts running. Then eventually she finds Ezra's little tent thing. And he's like, hey, they didn't help me. And so now I got to amputate my arm or I'm going to die. So you got to help me cut a bone. And so she literally puts a flashlight in her mouth, cuts off his arm. And then they're like, let's go do some harvesting. And so then they go and harvest some eggs.
At the Queen's lair.
At the Queen's lair. I don't know what any of this means, but I was like, okay, let's go. They go to the Queen's lair.
There's some guy in a box there.
Yeah, there's some guy in a box who is like, I think getting oxygen deprived. I don't know what his deal is. I think they were torturing him.
Felt like they were prisoners that they were using to do things.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Basically, they harvest the eggs. They fell at it. They kill everyone, get on the freighter, and then they're like, peace out. That's process.
Yeah. That's the long and short of it, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
It's a good movie. I really enjoyed it a lot.
And if enough people watch it on Netflix, there might be more.
Exactly. Prospect 2.
We get more of the little whatever color the streak in his hair is. Is it blonde?
Yeah. When I just got really out of focus, but when I interviewed Zeke last year, yeah, like he was like, if there's more, like there is more to the story, Netflix just has to be convinced.
Go watch
Prospect.
Everyone go watch Prospect right now.
I'm gonna watch it from every single one of the profiles on my family's Netflix. Let it play in a room and leave.
Oh, I love it.
My family's like, I didn't watch Prospect. I'm like, yeah, you did. Shut up. You watched it.
There are so many good reasons. There's so many good reasons to watch it. I mean, like Pedro is playing my favorite archetype of character, who is the rogue who has done bad things in life but has a change in heart because like some kid compels them to or something.
It's always the kid. I'm a sucker for it.
I am such exactly like Han Solo, like two.
I'm holding up a Han Solo Funko Pop. He didn't just go exactly to the air.
Han Solo, and the reason I relate to Han Solo is because like 2 hot twins show up and his life gets like flip turned upside down, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Like he needs a little talking to, but he's like, nope, I'm gonna get into it with these idiots. Like this is gonna be me, and I'm gonna be their idiot. And so I love it when like people have like big changes of heart, and like if there is more Prospect, you will see like his life if it continues, if they get help for him.
His poor arm.
He's going to radically change from what he was, you know, like you can tell that like he's done stuff in the past and he probably has a history of like pissing people off, which I love how like all of that was so easily wrapped up. Like I can tell a lot of different like aspects of Ezra's character just from that hour and a half,
100 minutes, 100 minutes,
quick. And this was also something I loved about this movie is that it was a short back in 2015 or 2014, and it was a 15-minute short, and then they were able to create like this feature-length film that I think was just like,
and that short's great too.
Yeah, the short is really good. But yeah. Oh, and my final note was that J. Duplass and I share a birthday. And I found that out because I used to work for this company called Seed and Spark, which Mark Duplass is a really close partner with.
Oh, really?
They were doing, in the before times, they were doing live events for free for filmmakers where like Mark would come and talk. John Ridley got in on it. He was a big part of that. Janita Gavankar was getting in on it. And they just do like full day film workshops for free.
That's so
for
cool.
local, yeah, for like underserved communities and stuff like that. So they would specifically not go to big cities so that they could get filmmakers who like weren't in like populated places and give them better access. Yeah. So like one night they were going to their talk, and like I was walking with Mark and my boss, Emily Best. And I forgot how we got to my birthday, but I told him my birthday, and he was like, oh, my brother's birthday is on the 7th. So yeah, final fact.
I love that.
Long story short. We are both Pisces.
You're like,
what
yes,
are Pisces?
Pisces. Yeah. Prospect is like Maggie said, was like one of those movies I'm like, yeah, I got what I needed to. I don't need you to explain. Like, if you would have been like, yeah, War is a planet that has blue-haired people, I'd be like, I don't fucking need that information if we're not going there. You could just say the planet. I'm like, that's a planet that exists. Cool. And yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
I love the process of it, because like, go read my interview with Zeke that I did last year, which was like my most nerve-wracking interview because my mic died and I didn't and I had to like work with him to like piece together what I could. It was a nightmare. And it was like, I was so nervous and excited for it. And then it was like an absolute nightmare. But like talking to him about like building all of the lore and like coming up with all of the stuff. They're Star Wars fans, obviously. Like they created this really cool booklet that I think went to either AMC or what's the other like indie film that has to do with drinking? Alamo, yeah. They had these like booklets that they were guides to the green. And so it was like this really cool, like you can find it on Google. A couple sites posted it, but it was like a guide to being a prospector on the green, and like goes through the process of how to like cut open the thing and how to harvest it. And like, it's really cool. And it's clear that these are people like us who grew up on the Star Wars encyclopedias.
Mm-hmm. That is so cool. I love that, like that. Like I would recommend this film to any Star Wars fan because it will just hit all the right beats with you. Like it tells so much of a story in such a short time. Like one of the cool things I like about this film, and it's like low budget factoids, are that it was filmed like right in Washington State. Like they did not go out of the States to do this. They didn't go to any of the super expensive places. They found a forest in Washington State, the whole rainforest in the Olympic Peninsula. And then also they hired carpenters, industrial designers, mechanics, and cosplayers to create all the handmade costumes and props for the film. So it's like heavily practical effect. It's like filmed right here in the States, right on the West Coast where I am. So, but not in LA.
Yes. And he got somebody to do music for them, to create space music. So that music that C's listening to was specifically made. Like I think he said he went on YouTube and found like some foreign music that he liked the sound of. And then
Latvian music.
And then he had somebody like recreate it to sound like weird space music. And then like the helmet, trying to figure out the helmet and how to get the sound to sound right for the actors since they're in these helmets the whole time. It was so cool. Like this film is perfect for anybody who has aspirations to make their own sci-fi films, but doubt they'll ever get like studio budgets to do it.
Yeah. It was great just noticing like all the different little things, like how I could tell exactly what kind of helmets those were before like they went and opened up the holes a little bit more. Like a lot of this is stuff where like you can take down notes where you say, oh, well, I saw them make a gun out of this, so maybe I can also like construct that. And I was thinking like the exterior shots, a lot of them look like models. I'm not sure if they are, but yeah, those look like model shots of the ships in space and stuff. So yeah.
And the interior was so cool. I like the multiple times that I've watched this film, I would like pause on it and see like all the different things because it's like little Easter eggs.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how like super vintage like NASA build the interior of their pod looked, because it was so, and it reminded me a little bit of like the interior to the ship of 2001: A Space Odyssey, with like all the similar panels that are just off on each little painting. Like they're all kind of the same color, but some of them are older and you could tell. And I just love that about this movie. It's a great little sci-fi film.
It is. And it's so funny too, because it's so similar to like The Mandalorian with him in the helmet and taking on a child. And like one of the things that Zeke had said in the interview was that this was right before Pedro got cast as the Mandalorian, and they got a notification that Lucasfilm like wanted a private screening of the movie. And then like a couple weeks later, Pedro was like announced as the Mandalorian, and they were like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
As Star Wars fans.
I love that.
They're like, we had the Mandalorian the whole time.
His Ezekiel, or not his Ezra voice is like proto Mando. It's like slightly more cowboy Mando.
Yeah, listen, I put the accent on here because I want to talk about, like, he said, I'm gonna be a cowboy and it's just gonna work. And I was just like, all right, sir. Like, why is your go-to just like, I'm gonna be a cowboy?
Like, I feel like when people, and this I only know the immigrant experience from my parents and my friends, but like, or when people are not from here, they like pick up on one specific like pseudo-American accent. Like if you notice, Tom Holland latches onto the New York accent in like all of his stuff, and like Pedro was raised here and stuff, so he's obviously like, this is a put on accent. But I feel like every actor that is not from America has a favorite American accent, and that's his.
Great.
Like,
I will take.
Loves the cowboy.
Can I have a real fucking cowboy movie then?
Because I have a script. I have a script. You know I have a script.
I know you do. That's why
it's a great script. Like, come on, studios, I got it.
I literally cackled because I have read it, and I was like, yeah, you do. You legitimately do.
I'm just saying, it's pretty good too.
It is. Yes, I want cowboy now. Give me cowboy. Which guess all I'm gonna get is people being like, yeah, it's just gonna be it's gonna be a Burt Reynolds biopic. Yeah, great. Okay, I understand you all want that. What?
Agent Whiskey. I mean, that's what.
I do have that. I'm so fucking dumb, and I'm like the Kingsman.
But he's not like the best cowboy in that. Like it's not peak cowboy. We could get more cowboy from him. We need him like on horses.
Cowboy though. Listen, I got so close to this microphone to say that. I was like, it's.
I don't like that because of the meat grinder.
Oh yeah, that was in his death era. So you know.
I'm traumatized by the meat
grinder.
No, my brain then just went like, oh no, remember the burgers? And then I was like, who had to eat him? Like it was just like I just trickled down into like terrible territory and like couldn't stop myself. It's not my fault. It's in the movie. If you guys have not watched Kingsman Golden Circle, she makes two dudes eat the other guy meat grinder burger.
Mm-hmm.
And after this movie, I'm like, I just have to watch all this disgusting stuff over and over again.
Oh my god.
The arm. Okay, did we cover the arm enough? Or did we?
I think we covered. I think we really covered the arm enough because and this has happened to me both times that I've watched it. It came as a surprise. Like I was looking away at something else for 1 second of watching this movie, and I turned back and like realized that this kid is cutting his arm off. So
casually, and he points it out. He's like,
"You're having like the chillest conversation." I thought they were fixing something, and then I turned back with like fries in my mouth. Like, holy crap! Like she's taking a saw to his arm.
See, this is how I knew that Ezra was going to become one of my favorite characters, because almost every single one of my characters that I latch onto is missing an appendage. Aww. Bucky Barnes doesn't have an arm. Jamie Lannister lost part of his arm. I love Luke Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker.
Jamie fan.
I love Captain Hook. I mean, like...
Forgot you were a fucking Jamie fan. Jamie is over and Jamie is gone.
He's my baby boy. And I spiral.
I mean, we all know who my favorite boys on that show were. And
I respect everyone's problematic faves.
Jamie. Literally, Jamie pushes the kid out the window, and I was like, favorite. That's mine.
First of all, when you said that, Catrina, I was like, Rob Stark and Oberyn have done nothing wrong in their lives.
No, I was talking about Jamie.
Jamie. I was like, yeah, wait, she's talking about Jamie. Jamie Lannister. My favorite bit when I watched all of Game of Thrones was I would do songs to the scenes, and I did the last 5 years for Jamie like 3 separate times. I was just like, gotta film this. This is I gotta film this. Yes. But Prospect rules. Prospect. I just want to know how the harvesting of the eggs works out, since we never got to see it.
It's a darn good film, and I feel like it should be either continued as a mini series or a hardcover graphic novel written by me.
Yes.
Yeah. Or co-written by all 3 of us, and drawn by the best artists we know. I don't know.
Fucking section on harvesting eggs. If I do,
I have so many Prospect stories in my brain. It literally spawns into like a whole world. I want to know more, and that's the hallmark of a good sci-fi film. You want to know more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, I want to know what planet they're going to, like how they're going to make money because they didn't get the harvest that they thought they were going to get. Like, there's not. I got questions that need some answers.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's like a certain mood or something to this, but like it feels grounded in enough reality where it's like, yeah, I know Earth like totally like exists in this system, but it's like, you know, several hundred years in the future. Like it feels a little more like, I hate to like use Cowboy Bebop as a comparison because everyone does, but it's like, oh, this is our space. This is our outer space. Like another like galaxy or something, like another Milky Way away from us. But like, yeah, it just feels very human, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, are there other species? Like,
yeah, like there are other species and stuff I'm sure I can tell. Like I feel like that dude in the suit was supposed to be portrayed as like, oh, he's another species, that's why he's so big. But like
I didn't speak.
Yeah, it didn't speak. I was like, oh yeah, they're trying to make him feel like an alien or something. And like I loved his helmet because it like again it reminded me like so much of Star Wars. It's like, oh, that was probably like a beekeeper's hat at some point. Just like
like looking at the differences in their helmets. That was a big like, okay, so they got a big astronaut costume and they used that for this, and then hers they were like, I gotta get something small, and then like none of them matched, and I loved it. I was like, this is like, they're all fucking different.
So many modded dickies. I love it.
Well, but it works because I hate movies where it's like 2 strangers who don't know each other have the same exact helmet, but it's not like they wouldn't. Like, and I like that this movie never felt that way. Like, you could very clearly tell that those 2, prior to having to couple up for their oxygen levels, were like very different people. And it rolls.
Absolutely.
I do want to understand the oxygen shit, just because like he at 10, but was it an air purifier? Was that the little button he turned on? Where he was like, take off your helmet? Was it an air purifier? Did he have a humidifier in there?
It looked pretty humid in there.
Yeah.
He was sweating.
I think so.
Wait, I need clarification. What color is the streak in his hair?
It's blonde.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Pedro was the one who did that. He showed up to set with it and was like,
here's my space hair.
He saw Richard Madden's natural hair and said, hold on, I can do that.
Because I think Zeke said he was like the last person to come to set because of like they'd already shot everything else, and then he showed up and it was like the day before set, like before picture for him, and he was just like, cool, this, yep, okay.
Nice. I love that.
I am yelling. He said, I want a streak. It's gonna happen. Let's go.
He was like, I'm gonna have a blonde streak and I'm gonna be Southern cowboy.
Look,
listen, if you walked onto my set and said, here are my choices, I'd go, great. Yeah. Let's go. Whatever you want to do.
One of the directors I was working with recently just like she like ground that into my head where it's like, make strong choices. And he made some strong choices that day and they worked out. They paid off. I think Ezra has a great character design, like head to toe. So
yeah, like he was like, this is me. Whoa. Yeah. And I was like, great.
Yeah, I love it.
All
right.
Prospect rules. Watch Prospect. I don't.
Yeah.
Stream Prospect on Netflix.
Yeah, stream it on Netflix as much
You're
as
not
you
affiliated with Netflix.
Tell your mother to stream it. Tell your cousins to stream it. Call your friends on Discord.
I'm going to tell my 18-year-old cousin too, but then I also feel like that's going to open up a world of pain for me. Because he is the kind of 18-year-old kid who watched Lost for the first time, and sat me down at dinner and was like, I want to talk to you about Frank Lapidus. And I was like, I have not watched Lost since it came out. What do you want to know about fucking Frank Lapidus? So like he would watch Prospect and be like, I want to know about the planet of Lore. And I'm like, I don't fucking know it. They didn't tell you anything about this planet. And he's like, well, you have to know, right? Like, can you ask? I'm like, no, I don't know people.
Well, use some Wikipedias. What are you asking
Listen,
me?
I'm going to make him watch it now, but also I'm just mentally preparing myself for an 18-year-old the next time I see him to be like, let me talk to you about this very specific moment of Prospect. And I'll be like, okay. Great. Can't wait.
Oh, I love it. All right. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am too lazy to make rating shirts right now. So we're just going to verbally rate this. So, and it doesn't even matter because like it works out for our listeners either way. You guys aren't looking at us. So,
Maggie, what is your rate? We do it out of 10.
Oh, out of 10?
Yes.
10.
10 out of 10.
I got another one. Katrina?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this film is that I have no problems with it. So I think I'll also give it a like. The thing about this film is I have no problems. I don't have any problems.
You went full Schmidt.
I don't have
no.
I don't have a single problem with this film, which like I have a problem with everything. So good.
See, I knew you would love it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I love it. We should have all sci-fi films should be made like this.
Should be Prospect. Just every sci-fi film.
I want more budget tightening.
Stop spending money. And give me some shit.
Donate half of it and use what you've got left.
Yeah. Give me some cheap shit. Exactly. This is like me when I go and get alcohol. I'm like, just give me the cheap shit. So that's how now I am with
sci-fi. Yeah.
I am with sci-fi movies. Give me the cheap shit. 10 out of 10, but that's because I'm always 10 out of 10 because I find something to love in every movie. But this movie is also... I hate when people just like want to always find the bad. I'm like, I'll point out the bad and then I'll talk about why I love it, the good stuff, and give you a 10 out of 10. My friends make fun of me for it, whatever. But yeah, 10 out of 10. It's a good movie. It's fun. It's short. It's almost a tight 90, which, I love a tight 90. Mm-hmm. Would love to live without the like bone saw, but you live and you learn. And that's
said he's the unknown Skywalker.
Yeah.
It was the left. I was like, wait, no, it was the right. I don't know. Why am I trying to do this?
But he's the first one who's gone like all the way up the arm because the other two just lost to like wrist length. So
yeah, this was like the thing was here because it said, "Here's his arm. Look at his muscles." I'm okay.
All right. You know what time it
is? Yes.
It's time for Stash of the Week.
Stash. The stash on everybody's lip is gonna be Pedro's. Anyway, eventually
they were gonna get music.
Eventually, the ghost of Bob Fosse is going to rise up and murder me. And Candor and Ebb. They're just
can you put that on TikTok when it happens?
When I get murdered by the ghosts of Candor and Ebb and Bob Fosse? Sure.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be really well choreographed. Like you're just gonna be doing thrown through the air. That's fine. The ghost will be doing everything. So
I loved Cabaret. I love Cabaret. Please don't. Yeah, Maggie, welcome to this. There's always some point in this podcast where you turn into like either an old Italian New Yorker or
shocking.
I'm always like, hey, what are you doing?
Hey, what's the matter with you? Come walk in here.
What's the matter with you? Anyways, so Katrina.
Hey, my favorite stash this week is this stash. His confrontation stash. I like to call this the confrontation stash because he was confronted.
John, at last we see
each
other's thing. Yeah, you wear a different thing. You said the confrontation. What did you expect of me?
And he has a child to care for, so it works.
Yeah. And I'm going to sing my favorite part, which is when he's like, my race is not yet.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I love this stash because primarily because I love this helmet. But it's just a good look on him. It's nice. It's full. It's ready to like swindle you at any turn. He's just here to be relaxed and win this duel, even though he's not going to fight in it. So go Ezra.
I'm not going to sing Hamilton. Listeners, it's the one where he's sitting in the. I almost started singing the 10 commandments. It's when he's like when they're about to do the shootout.
Yeah, he has. This is when J.D. Plas's character Damon is holding the gun to the frame, the glass of his helmet, and threatening him. He wants. This is the one where he wants Ezra to like open the box and see what's inside of it. I can't even remember what was in the box. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure the box went down with him.
Probably. What's in the box? Anyways, okay. So, Maggie, do you want to go next? Do you want me to go next?
Sure, I'll go next.
Okay, so here is Maggie's choice. She's a monster.
Ooh.
Maggie's original choice was when he's actually getting his arm amputated off because I like his face in that scene.
A monster.
No, he's like his hair is flat to his forehead because he's like sweaty and he's like, I don't know. I love a man in pain. So, but I for listeners who cannot see this, it's when he's in the tent. He's still in like the jumpsuit thing, and he's got that devilish smirk of his, and he is just doling out the charm, even though he's in tremendous pain. And I do just want to hug him and tell him it'll be okay.
And he is using a humidifier.
Yes, he is using his humidifier.
I aspire to be him in almost every way. Almost.
Truly.
Yeah, except losing an arm.
Except for the losing an arm thing and like being super sweaty on a very humid planet.
Yes. So I didn't realize we got 2 pictures from this same scene because I almost was like, I can't swear. I've been swearing a long time. I forgot
the whole time you want.
Yeah, I swear all the time. Whatever. I'm tiny. It makes me seem powerful. I've accidentally uploaded 2 different pictures, so I can just switch back and forth. So it's when they're in the little, I almost said the tent. It's when they are in the spaceship, and he takes his helmet off, and his hair's a hot mess. He has a little blonde streak, and he's looking at her like, bitch, go ahead and try and shoot me. You're not going to do it, even though she just did. But, like, it's a good scene. He's being like, you can trust me. Can you please just give me something to help me? You shot me.
And then he just, like, scarves the whole bottle of pain pills down.
Yeah, literally, like, do you remember the pill rattles now meme from WandaVision where she, like, just shakes the pills in her mouth? It's that. He just goes like this and just eats a bunch of pills. And is like, I'm fine, let's go.
He was flying off his mind the whole
time. And you're like, no wonder you were like, I can do this, we'll just go. And talk
I love it.
That's my stash.
That's some good stash action in this movie. Lots of good stashes in this movie.
Listen, I love Pedro Pascal with a stash is like aces.
You mean it's
without it's but that's my noise for curling a thing. I mean, his face is just good. Like I literally
he's got a good face.
In my I got the vaccine fever. Described this podcast as like, yeah, I want to talk his filmography because he's pretty. And fever.
Yeah, podcast. It's about.
It was on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a big audience, and I went, "He's pretty." I was like, "I have a fever. I got the vaccine. You can't hold me accountable for the shit I just said."
No. Oh. But you know what? And I don't. But our listeners might. Hey-oh.
Yeah. All I said was he's pretty.
He's pretty.
Do you disagree?
Yeah, if you disagree, don't comment. What are you here for? Just leave. Just go away.
You're like, yeah, he's not pretty. I just want to listen about Prospect on a podcast that goes through every single Pedro Pascal movie. Choices. You're making choices. Maggie, welcome to the Podro Pascal.
Welcome to the podcast.
Chaos.
Love it.
Unfettered chaos, and I love it.
There was no better combination for this, honestly. Like Rachel and I are like way up in outer space at this point when it comes to mentality. So like
what's great was when we started this, Catrina and I both were like, well, we'll FaceTime or we'll like Zoom and just see like our energies. And it was just this chaos. And we went, this is great for a podcast.
Amazing. I love us. I love this.
Committed.
And it's worked out great. And then we made it branded, and now we're here with this new title that Rachel thinks.
Podro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
I hate puns.
Welcome to Podro Pascal.
See what Jesus is like that.
Okay, well now we got sexy Catrina over seducing you into the podcast. Meanwhile, I'm over here like Pedro Pascal. How northeastern can I sound?
Yeah,
honestly, I have to say that I was very disappointed that for April Fools you didn't change your podcast to being about Pascal from Tangled.
That would have been an idea, you know.
So next year,
a little gecko.
Next year when we are further emerging from a pandemic and can deal with April Fools, we will definitely do something.
Oh my goodness,
maybe.
The little iguana. Oh, why'd you have to bring him up? I love him so much. He changes colors. I just want a tangent about this fucking thing real quick. I love him so much. I love Tangled. I was just talking to them about how much I love Tangled. Because when she's looking at the lanterns and she's just like, I love the lantern.
Dude, I
love Disney movies so much. I know they're a monopoly. I don't care.
Second tangent. I miss that song specifically. Every single time it's on at the Disney parks, like I just stop and I like immediately start singing it. So I just miss it so much.
For the listeners, and I'm sure Maggie has been here, Catrina, you've lived here, so maybe you have as well. When you go to the Times Square Disney store and you go up the escalator, it looks like Tangled. And every single time I'm like, never last I see the light. And I'm just like going up an escalator. And like every single time I'm like, like mad at me. I'm singing Tangled up an escalator.
I love it. I just can't. I can't help it.
This is now turning into a Pascal from Tangled podcast.
Sorry.
We're now rebranding to Lizard Pascal, actually. So stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be talking about lizards.
Lizards. Just the lizard from Spider-Man. And then the lizard from Spider-Man. So Maggie, as our guest, is there anything else you would like to say about the film
Prospect on Netflix so that we can have more, so that I can have more of this?
Yes.
Make it personal.
Also, just watch it.
Stream more Prospect.
Seriously, last year I tweeted like every single week, can more people please watch Prospect, over when it was on Hulu, because I was just like, please, 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 can somebody else? Because I just want to talk about it. I love it so much.
It's good. It's a good.
There you go. Stream Prospect, you cowards.
Just stream it. Just go.
You cowards.
Yeah. So, Maggie, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Maggie of the Town, and I have a link tree in my bio to make it easy for you to find me on the Star Wars Friends podcast, Petticoats and Poppies, and Let's Talk About Star Wars, and that mystery show that will be coming on the 13th.
Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait to turn notifications on for you only.
I know
where people find you.
Oh, hi, me. Yes, you can find me anywhere on the internet if you search for OHCATRINA. Oh, Catrina. I am on their Star Wars show from the Cantina on the Whiskey and Waffles Twitch channel every Friday night at just about 8 p.m. And you can also see me streaming on Book Wars every once in a while whenever we decide to murder each other on Among Us. Otherwise, please check my Twitter for all sorts of shenanigans.
And you can follow me at Rachel Leishman on Twitter. Rachel_Leishman on Instagram. And then, just the Mary Sue and around. I'm around. I just like kind of float. I'm
hanging around.
I'm hanging around. I'm chilling. I write things, but that's all. They're all. Well, Maggie's read some, but they're all.
I've read a few of them.
Read a few of them. I hide. But yeah, we are now Podro Pascal everywhere. We have changed it. So if you're trying to tweet at us, you have to tweet Podro Pascal. If you're trying to Instagram us, it's Podro Pascal.
Those extra two the R and the O, you gotta put it in there, or else we're never gonna see it.
We will never see you. And yeah, you can like, subscribe, do all what you're supposed to do with this stuff. I don't know. Maggie, I hope you had fun.
I had so much fun.
Joining the chaos that
me.
Ow, I just hit my chin. My Jay Leno chin just smashed into my microphone. This is what I get for this pointy-ass chin. Just smashing it into stuff, trying to end a podcast.
There's nothing wrong with your beautiful pronounced features.
Beautiful chin.
Love your chin.
Thank you. My mom told me that Jake Gyllenhaal would like me because it looks like Reese Witherspoon's. That is a thing my mother has said to me.
I love that. I love your mom.
On that note, here is this beautiful image of Pedro Pascal with a gun to his head in a spaceman suit. You're a star, man. David Bowie's going to rise out of his grave and be like, shut the fuck up.
We're going to have so many people in the room tonight.
What?
Why are you summoning all these ghosts? You've got to.
Come to me, ghosts. Come to me, the ghosts of people I love. Remember, imagine Candor and Evan, David Bowie, just like floating above me like, bitch. Shut up.
You have fun evoking all those spirits.
On that note, this has been the 5th episode of Podro Pascal.
Oh my God.
Let us know what you want us to review next. We have some guests coming up because we've messaged all of our friends like what you love that Pedro Pascal's in. And Maggie will most definitely be back because whenever I want to talk about Pedro Pascal, I'm like, Maggie!
Well, if you do Wonder Woman 1984, clearly you're going to have to bring me back.
Obviously.
No, we're never gonna fucking do Wonder Woman 1984. The girl who literally said I have 5 different Wonder Woman things and was drinking out of a Wonder Woman mug this entire time. I'm like, nah, we're never doing my baby. My little Diana. Yeah, call her a baby. She could murder me. Also, bring Maxwell Lord back and break his back. That's all I want, or his neck. What? It's what happens in the comics. Yes. They wanted it. Break his neck.
But Pedro said his death era. He said his death era is over. He didn't actually say that, but
it is. We've said it for him.
Yeah, the death era is over. Sorry.
Love you, but pray more
death. Actually, technically, his death era is not over.
Yeah.
Oh no. And with that, we will close the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back in 2 weeks to talk about something involving Pedro Pascal that we have not decided on yet. Until then, I have been Catrina.
And I have been Rachel with our wonderful guest,
Maggie of the Town.
AKA Dakota Johnson. And on that, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.